But the discussion was more what needs to be done. Appreciating where he comes from. And I think some of you who know Pitso, as he was speaking here, he got emotional because he knows what sport has done to change his life. And I'll give an example why he got emotional, Chairman. Growing from a township where I come from, as you know, Chairman, I think you know where I come from, the role of sport. We built a similar court like this in a place called Heiderveld in Manenberg in Cape Town. Now, those who know Cape Town, those two areas is called Cape Flats. It's Siyakhala. We took the same community following weeks because the communities of Cape Town are divided by a railway line. The colored community and the African community. We took the same communities to Kukule to across the railway line. Packed like this. How much they were appreciating what we have done to their community a week earlier. They say our children, all of a sudden, on weekends everywhere we find them in those courts. And it has reduced the levels of criminality and gangs in Manenberg and Heiderveld. I make this point, Chairman, because sometimes when we talk about football, we think about entertainment and winning a game. There's a role of sport beyond that, about nation building, building communities, beyond winning. And that is a power of sport that we have not lifted up. During Pitso's time, I'm sure during your time too, Chairman, we understood that it was a time where almost our country was so depressed, we were divided along color lines. We used sport, which was not recognized, including football, to unite our people. I was saying to some of the younger players of another team, including Mpumi, I said there was a time when we used to go to FNB. Supporters could not mix. You were sitting as Orlando Pirates or Kaizer Chiefs that side. You crossed the line, your head is dead. It was through the leadership of the chairman and many others before him that we were able to use sport to realize that it's not about you, it's about a nation. Which is why Nedbank and Pirates is not about your supporters. You don't only look at your supporters as Orlando Pirates. You look at Orlando Pirates as a builder, as a contributor and the instrument of nation building. So when young players of Orlando Pirates enter the field, they must understand, yes, they've got to win because there's a chairman who is expecting results. But on one hand, they inspire young boys. They are building and making a contribution to nation building. And sometimes I said to Pitso when he spoke, I see in some of the players that element is missing of being an instrument of nation building using on field. And these are the conversations, Chairman, sometimes. I miss you. I know it's not easy to find you. You know, these days, just yesterday, I was dealing with a matter which I learned from you, quite interestingly. History is a way to repeat itself. I was very young, with a secretary called Mbalula, and there was an issue between yourself, PSL, SABC, and so on, and multi-choice. We went for you in public, without knowing what was happening. Years later, you still remind me of that issue. It's so interesting that I'm now a minister, I'm confronted. I remembered you yesterday. That why we have not resolved the issue. When I was young, I dealt with the issue with the chairman. And I think there's an issue there, Chairman, you can give us lessons as a country. And I think to all corporates must join Nedbank, because government on its own, to honor these legends who are truly an inspiration in icons, remarkable individuals who are themselves role models like Pitso. It's rare to find them. We come from a time where criminals and gangs were role models in communities. We come from communities. The ones I mentioned in Cape Flats. Gangs and criminals are role models to young girls. That's why when we celebrate one of us with positive attributes, we must celebrate and say big ups. We must inspire others like you to do more, because only through sport we can contribute to our national identity, to our national symbols, to our national social cohesion. And I think the role of sport sometimes is not really recognized by all of us as leadership. And one of the people, I must say, inspires me in terms of how he understands the role of sport is somebody called Panya Panya. I work with a lot of premiers, but one premier who inspires me of what needs to be done is this young chap sitting next to me. You call him a premier. It's a young chap. But I'm inspired with his appreciation of sport. And I would want to call on him and many others to join me. Thank you very much, Jason. With the little contribution you make, if you change one life, well, in an African definition of a family, you don't know what to do. You're making an impact to a family of 10 people by changing one life. Pitso is an embodiment of inspiration of a young boy from Ezola. They look up to Pitso. His success is not a success of him. It's a success of some boy sitting somewhere who's hopeless about future. Hence, we must celebrate these individuals because on their own, they are making contribution. It's unfortunate that Jingles, you landed this morning, you are leaving this morning. We celebrate you for that. But next week, Chairman, we are convening a school sport in Durban. Something that will herald a new history, a revolution in sport in this country. I want him to make a contribution. Because one of the conversations I had with you and him was what best do we do to improve our national teams? We discussed the academies, that one of the things we need to do, take our young players to join academies in Europe to be the best players. And him coming from running some of the best academies, I would want him next week, whether via Zoom or whatever, to make an input in that endeavor. Because I recognize the contribution we have made to the development of sport in this country. I want us to give him a big round of applause. I don't want to make an assumption that that which we are celebrating today is a prediction of yet to come in terms of the MTN. But I watched Orlando Pirates when you played. I saw some determination, and I love the spirit, Chairman. And I think there's something that you said, whether it's Mpumi, true Mpumi, but there's something that you said. When you see Ekron Stadium coming from Cape Town as I do, packed as it is, something is giving hope to the people of Western Cape. And that hope is true football. We must continue to inspire others, which is why I'm saying players may not appreciate the 12th player, but the 12th player is on the field to recognize and to be inspired by these players. When you see Loftus, when you see Lucas Moripe, when you see FNB, packed, it's not just people aboard. There's an inspiration and a hope that gives them to attend those games. We want to thank you and make sure that more corporates, they come and support these efforts. Thank you very much. All the best, Jingles.
Thank you.